So this app is called Atoms in Motion. If I click anywhere, it gets rid of the nice inspiring quotes there that you can read. And what I'm going to do is click up the top left here on this NE neon. I'm going to do that. It adds some more neon atoms. So this app is attempting to show us what's going on inside the material when you heat it. Now the main bit that we're going to be interested in then is what we do with these atoms. And down the bottom, see where it says capital T equals. So that's this one here. I'm going to change it to degrees Celsius, which I imagine you'll be more familiar with anyway. And that's the standard unit that we'll use in first year physics. And so basically within a gas and within a liquid or solid, you have these atoms which are moving around. Now in a liquid and a solid, they don't move around as much, but you get a much better picture with a gas. And what I want to look at is the idea of, well, what happens if I could change some of these individual atoms? Now we can't do this in the real world, but we can do this with a simulation. So if I try and put my finger on one of these, so I've now got my finger, can you see that one in the middle doing wee circles? I grab that, I've got my finger on it. And what I want to show you is if I whiz it backwards and forwards really quickly and then let it go, what happened to the temperature when I did that? So we'll try that once again. You see the temperature's at 220 degrees Celsius now. Let's find a nice slow moving one. There, I've got that one again. Give it a good whiz and let it go. So it jumped from 220 up to 320. And this gives us a good picture basically for what temperature actually means. Temperature is the average speed, or the more technical term is the average kinetic energy of how fast the atoms in the material are moving. So if we heat something, there are two things that can happen. First of all, its temperature can change, and that's the one that most people are familiar with. So if I give you a glass of water and you heat it, then its temperature is going to go up. There are other things we'll look at more later on the unit, and that's the idea of what we call changes in state. But for now, we're concentrating mostly on changes in temperature. And what we see there is it's linked to how fast these atoms are moving. So that's me heated it up by making some of the atoms move faster. I can try and do the opposite and try and grab fast moving ones and slow them down, but it's a lot harder to grab them when they're moving fast. But if I do that, well, see, I grabbed that really fast moving one and the temperature went down to just under 200. Try and grab another fast moving one and stop it. Temperature goes down again. Now the faster moving the one I grab is, the more the temperature decreases, but it's a lot harder. But you can have a bit of fun trying that out for yourself.